You're listening to the Podcast Detroit Network. Visit www.podcastdetroit.com for more information.
Hello. It's your girl, Miss Mouthy. Hey, y'all. Hey, it's been a week, but we made it. And, uh, okay, I know what you're saying. Girl, where you at? You said 5 o'clock, right? But shit happens. But what you gotta know is I'm here. I'm here. And it's been on my heart. So if you are a new set of lips, welcome. Thank you. You are tuning into the Miss Mouthy podcast. And if you are a returning set of lips, hey y'all. Y'all already know what I'm about to give. This is a podcast for trans women of color in the city of Detroit about our narratives and experience and the allies that love and support us. And so with this being the month of September, we have talked about sexual health for quite some time. So thank y'all for like being patient with me. We're gonna end out this month with that. But something on my heart, y'all. Like this has been a rough week. And I don't know if it's been that way for y'all, but it's definitely been that way for me. And I had to be really honest and transparent about what I've been feeling lately when it comes to that. Like, so I would say for anybody who has been feeling it a lot lately, it is okay not to always feel okay and not to be 100%. And so when it comes to this episode, I'm really thinking about calling it Mean Girls because I've been noticing some shit. And when I say, honey, myself included, there are moments where I think some type of like that energy bug get on you and it bite your ass. So you can feel it in a room that if like somebody starts a conversation or they bring up someone, it can go real left. And so also I want y'all to know that if y'all on my Facebook, please follow the Miss Mouthy podcast page, and that way I'll be able to see your comments while I'm live on the air. So with that being said, yeah, I wanted to entitle this Mean Girls. A couple things over the weekend. I went to Hooters for the first time, and that was actually fun. When I had this whole phobia of like, I don't know what I thought Hooters was gonna be like. I thought it was gonna be like this kind of slutty environment, like 2 steps down from a strip club, right? But in all actuality, it was really tasteful. I feel like I don't know why I thought it was gonna be so many boobs out, but it wasn't as many boobs out as it was ass. So I was just like, oh, okay, them some little shorts. Where can I buy some from? So that was actually good. The wings were amazing. That was like my little highlight. Um, Sunday I went to Chaos's going away party, which was really, really good. So we wanted to send him off right and just let him know that he's loved and supported. So, congratulations on your new ventures in New York. I hope everything go in your favor. I know it will. Y'all make sure y'all get y'all some thrust. Um, but yeah. I got a special guest that's coming on today. I adore her so much. And yeah, like let's get into it.
Hi.
Hi,
I
how are
just
you?
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. It's so good to see you. You looking fab over there. Look at that number. Ooh.
No,
Okay.
no, I'm feeling good.
Okay. Well, good.
Well, to
Well,
be fair, I'm off
introduce
work, so why
yourself
wouldn't I be feeling
to the
good?
people. Period. You was always giving me a look, baby.
I
Okay.
mean, look, the locks, the lipstick, yes.
Okay. I'm here for it all. So tell the people who you are.
Well, my name is Alexandria. I'm a girl, like, every other girl. Majority of truth be like, ain't I a woman? I'm like, me too, ain't I a
Okay. Period.
woman?
Ah.
um, and that's all there really is to it, right? I live my life. I read
It's a lot
books.
of things to you. Oh, okay. So let me tell
Well,
y'all why I even brought her on. Go ahead. Go ahead.
well, for now, I guess I'm just in a spot where I'm trying to really consider who I am and who I want to be, and both of those things are more ambiguous to me than I thought they would.
Yeah.
Especially like after COVID, recovering from quarantine, and just the general society we live in now.
Yeah.
So it's
No,
like, oh,
I wholeheartedly get it. And so tell the people what it is that you do for work.
um, I have a job working from home. It's just simple data entry is all I really
Hey,
do, right?
CJ.
Hey. Um, and that's what I currently do for work. I've been looking for part-time work. I'm currently mostly just been teaching myself new things, especially related to like technology or politics. I feel like COVID was a good time for me to expand my ideology beyond just intersectional feminism for the
Yeah.
win, guys. Like it's nice, but like also where's the economic analysis of this?
Ah! Okay, so let me tell y'all the reason why I wanted Alexandria on here is because one, I think she's so fucking amazing. Her mind and her intellect has been the thing that just makes me really, really, really like excited. Like I love talking to her. Like I can talk to her for hours. But I think it's really imperative. The reason why I entitled this Mean Girls is because I feel like oftentimes people get so stuck into this one dimension of either a girl or how they view trans women. And I really want to use this platform to also highlight the diversity in my community and how like we all show up in different spaces and we all have different intersections. So with that being said, I wanted to share somebody who I think is like fucking phenomenal all the time with the world, like period. But yeah, I think it's something that I had to challenge myself with my psyche. And Sandra, I don't know if you go through this, but this week I made a conscious effort to like and Mean Girls, they was called the plastics. And sometimes like makeup and all that shit can be like so heavy and just I tend to like get addicted to filters and I get addicted to the lashes. And now I don't even want to see my regular lashes. I be like, damn, like, okay. So let me get used to my skin again. Like, know that people used to be like, you got long lashes. But now I can't even if I don't have falsies on, I feel bald headed. Like I'd be like, nah, I can't wear it. I ain't nah. I'm not doing this. But I think it's really, really important that we highlight that. And so what was your experience like growing up?
That's interesting because I feel like I get this question fielded to me a lot.
Okay.
Well, in different like ways and contexts. Like I
Mhm.
remember I had to work with this like super turfy lesbian, and I got that question. It was like a measuring stick of like, were you socialized as a woman? Are you really a woman? You know, when they put like a fine microscope so they can find, and you know what I'm talking about. So,
Okay, period.
so I think I need to like give as a context just to say that like I had a mostly happy-ish childhood. I mean, I ain't gonna lie. A woman does have daddy issues, but like that's besides the point.
I do too. You're not alone. Okay, period.
So,
I can't
like,
growing up. That's why I'm wild and I don't give a fuck.
uh, hey, Dad, if you're seeing this, hello.
Dad, if you see it, no,
But no, growing up for me was again mostly happy. I have memories of like doing things like I would put on dresses. Like if I saw my cousins, like, you know how like your cousins would get them little princess gowns,
yes.
I would totally take one and wear it. Me 2 sizes too big for it because I was older.
Okay.
Um, and yeah, that was my experience, right? I have some experiences of being distinctively not treated like a boy in terms of like, yeah, like sometimes adults are like, yeah, you know, this is this, but then there are
Yeah.
like moments of slut recognition. And I feel like, particularly in like Black communities, gender is constructed so differently just because like our gender is racialized. So the ways in which we construct that and interact with that occur so differently, I think, than even what media can conceive of or like what the society around us can really get into the niches of, right? And these are things but and like mind you, these are things that we're starting to talk about in universities, but even then I feel like the understanding that they talk about with is very you're too white to be writing this for your doctorate, sweetie.
Okay, so I got an icebreaker question for you. What
Yeah.
is one social either construct or a social stigma that we need to just do away with?
Why you give me this question? I'm
I'm
so
sorry. I thought you were be the one who would like, can I answer this for me?
Well, of course I can answer it for you. It's just there's so many. Okay, I'm gonna do both. Race and gender have both got to go.
Okay, period.
And this isn't me trying to be going like, yes, I am black. Like, let's be clear. This is 100. Okay, maybe I'm not 100% Negro, but enough that my hair locks. Okay. But I feel like race was created by white people as a tool to oppress people that weren't them, right? And historically speaking, has been very fluid in terms of who is white and who is not considered white. Like a lot of Jewish people today, they're white now, but they were always like white, or like Greeks, for example, right back in the day. Like just all these different ethnicities that, racially speaking, by other white people were like, we're not white, right? Okay. And then there's the buyout of, well, if you become white by buying into anti-blackness, supporting slavery, insert historical incident here, right? Mm-hmm. So whiteness becomes ultimately a tool of capital, as is race for oligarchs and such, right? And then in terms of gender, we get into this whole idea of how gender is a social construct just like race is, but it's also so much performance and so much of a trap that I feel like we fall into.
You better talk
That's
about
not
it.
Me trying to say I don't want to live in a world where like gender is just completely invalid and like no one has one or anything like that. But just that the way we construct it I just want to do it entirely like, like I'm black, I'm a woman, this paycheck I'm going to be making less than how many of my other peers are? Like, just scrap it.
So now y'all see why I love her, because she just her, like, period. So what is our earliest memory of each other? Do you remember?
I met you through the Transist as a Color project, I think.
Okay.
Well, I heard about you before that while I was working at Transist as a Color project. Okay. And I was in the office and I was like bringing you up, I think, about how like you and your daughter, like, hey, you seen the video? And I was like, wow.
Okay.
What even? Girl, I am new here. I am a baby friend. Like, I don't know shit. So that's how I knew of you. And then I think this is like way back in the day, I think, when there was did you ever come through to the office when it was still on like 7 Mile and Evergreen?
I think I have, yeah. Like, Premium, right?
Yeah, that was like the first time I actually met you. I might have like said one or two words to you, but that was kind of it. I didn't actually like meet you until Ruth Ellis, I think. Okay. And there was a trans programming thing happening. It wasn't a retreat, nothing. It was. Am I making sense?
Yeah, I feel like my first, like, because I know we have a lot of interactions in our community with people, right? But my first, like, real interaction to knowing you as a person and really getting to know you was when we did the Trans Dust retreat, and it was me, you, and Dwayne sitting in the room, and that's when I developed, y'all. This is a Mouthy moment. This when I learned like I had an attraction to like feminine energy, and like was like, yeah, like Andra had came and fucked my world up, y'all. Like she was just being herself and authentic. Like last week, y'all asked me what makes me single, and I was like, there's certain people that just like I like originality, I like uniqueness, and I just think seeing her live in her authentic truth and being herself, and probably being in spaces where she was mind blowing the fuck out of everybody and they were just sitting there looking dumb, really did something to me. I was just like, who is she? I need to know who she is. And I remember Dwayne just being like, what's going on with you, TT? And I was like, I think I got a crush on that girl. And he's like, you think so? And I'm like, no, I'm dead ass think I like her. And I remember I like, hey, I think I like you. And I remember your face got beat red, like, oh, that is such a compliment. Face crack. I was like, oh, okay, yeah, okay, great. But that was my earliest memory. I would definitely say like that was the moment that I really felt like I connected with you as a person.
I remember this too distinctively. Yes, because it was upstairs in that little room. Well, it
Period.
wasn't like a little room, but this is before they had the mural there. So
Yeah. So that was very interesting for me. So how do I guess when it comes to like navigating certain spaces as a trans woman, what have been some things that you really kind of like experienced, or what things do you rely on to navigate those spaces?
um I okay, so like no, these answers are going to sound good from a political standpoint. I just want to clarify, I am still down to abolish capitalism after I say this. Okay, so with that being said, let's get those disclaimers out the way. I don't know. I feel like as a trans woman, I have certain privileges to a degree, right? In terms of like, I can pass for cisgender now, and that's kind of new for me, especially considering like we've been in quarantine. So now it's like when I go out, it's like, yes, ma'am, can I get the door for you? Like, oh, hello, miss, and it's like I'm taken. I have a partner, yada yada yada.
You do have a
So
partner.
there's and I'm just kind of femme. I'm good at performing gender roles when I need to be, if that makes any sense. I can perform gender well, and on top of that, I benefit from colorism, right? So I feel like that does grant me a certain level of access to being treated well, and then I open my mouth and like, yes, girl, t-shirt, like all of that, like yes,
Right.
that vernacular does come easily to me, and it's the one I favor. But also, like this right here comes out, and then just like, oh, it. When I lean, I feel like into whiteness and like to typical gender norms. I can tell there's a shift that happens when like people treat me in terms of like, oh, there's like a step of respect or what have you, right?
Right. I was going to ask you about that. Yeah.
So like that's not something I'm not afraid to lean into when called upon. It's either that or you're gonna get you gonna get, and you can get red.
So because I do want to have maybe later in the season, there needs to be a conversation around colorism, and I want to invite folks to like share that experience. And oftentimes, but you do you oftentimes get mistaken for a white woman?
Oh no, I just said I was light skinned. I thought I could pass maybe. I can pass for white. I can pass for this gender.
Like,
let's be clear.
Picture there with the white card girl.
Let's be clear. This ain't no clan queen.
Okay, so you did mention you have a partner. Can you talk a little bit about what's that like? Because one thing I'm finding very hard, and this is just myself personally, and me and my girl had this conversation all the time. It's like dating while being a trans woman is like, something that's like problematic as fuck. I'm just saying that way. Okay.
Problematic or problemagic?
I ain't found the magic yet. But when I find the magic, I promise you I'll let you know. I will tell you.
The magic is using these niggas for money, let's be clear. But
okay, period. I'm here for it.
So I think that we need to living with a partner is everything I thought.
How long y'all been together?
A year and more than a year and a half. It's been a minute.
I didn't know this.
It's been a minute. It's like
a year and a half. Okay, boom.
Oh my god, I moved in with my non-binary partner with the U.
Okay.
Anyway, no. So not. I feel like. So I'm a trans woman, right? Okay. But I'm like very non-binary, very queer, and all of that. And my partner is also non-binary, very queer, and.
Okay, so can you break that down a little bit for my listeners who might not necessarily know what non-binary means?
So like non-binary just means someone who doesn't really identify with maybe man or woman or both of those genders or anything in between, right? There are numerous genders out there in society, and people can exist outside of being a man or woman in like different ways, or be a non-binary man or woman. Like gender is very fluid, and ephemeral, and it's not even real. So like, I feel like my womanhood definitely does exist and entrench itself in those spaces and crosses over into something else that I don't quite have the words for, right? Rather than I am what I am, right? And so is my partner.
Period.
And I feel like I had these misconceptions that maybe if I date someone who is closer to my identities, that would make the relationship easier. And in some ways it does. But like, I feel like we as trans women, sometimes we kind of date, we do things, but we're kind of fucked up and don't really address that. And then just like,
yeah.
oh. So I feel like I love my partner. I love living with my partner. This is arguably the dream, right? Like I just live as a woman. I split bills with someone. Like, oh my God, yes. But I have a lot of work I need to do. I've noticed on myself. Just in terms of like,
recognize that internal work that needs to happen.
Like
we miss it.
A bitch can read a book, can read a person even, right? But like, where's the emotional intelligence? Where's the ability to communicate effectively what you're feeling, what you're going through? Where's the ability to remember important dates and things? Like there are just all these things that are part of being a relationship and being a person that I never really had to deal with before because it was just me. And if a friend felt some type of way about, then skedaddle. I can be on Grindr for 2 months.
Yeah, I could be without you. I kind of got called out on my shit recently. Only because like I do desire a partner. I'm very picky, I think, at some point. And I don't know. I battle a lot, and I don't know if it's the Gemini in me or just like someone who's been hurt. But it'd be like, yeah, I want a relationship. But then it'd be like, no, I just want to court and then work towards a relationship. And it's just like I'd be conflicted a lot of times. And so my one little potential partner was just like, potential partner, you hear that? Was like, well, how you gonna want a relationship? But I feel like you take everything personal when it has nothing to do with you, like when it has to do with my internal things, and you make it feel like it's a reflection of you. And I was like, all right, those selfish there. Got to do some work there. I hear you. I'm gonna internalize that. Got it.
Yeah, no. Yeah, no. So I'm in like, I feel like I'm in a similar position in terms of like, oh, it's me. I've also had to like really step back and look at a lot of my past relationships and be like, I don't think you're the victim here in some of these circumstances.
Yeah.
I just get your shit together and be a grown woman, bitch. Damn. This shouldn't be rocket science.
Okay, but sometimes I don't know, maybe we didn't normalize being the victim or the traumatic experience that we go through, that sometimes we block ourselves from what can potentially be on the horizons. And I forgot to ask you. Okay. Sexual health month. Boom. What do you find to be sexy?
All the answers that came to my head were like super pornographic. So
okay, be honest. Be honest.
Okay. Or really romantic. Oh my God, this is so weird. I went from like the girl who like OMG choke me out, yes, to oh my God, could you like hold me instead? And I'm like, I don't know any of these bitches anymore, either besides me. So I guess being held and being cared for, like I'm like such a bottom and like I'm sticking with that now. Like I don't know why this was in question ever before. I think I wanted to appeal to what other people might want of me because I'm like a people pleaser, but like I'm a bottom. I know 6'2" black girl with long locks walking down the street. Like, yes, top me, black queen. No, baby, this isn't. Keep your race play to yourself. But yeah, no, I'm such a bottom. I want to be held. I want to be kissed and treated nice and touched and either that or tie me up. Those are
Okay.
the big ones.
Period. So how do you keep it sexy?
What do you mean?
What do you mean? Okay, you told us how you find things sexy, but how do you personally keep it sexy? Do you feel like you're sexy? Do you feel like you embody sexiness?
It depends. So here's the thing. I say no, but my behavior and the way I've acted is like, girl, like you haven't flirted before, get that discount on a little chunk of change at the gas station. Let's be clear, bitch.
Okay.
So like I feel like I know that I can be sexy when I want to, and like I know what type of beauty that is, right? Like I'm tall, I'm thin, kind of give model fish sometimes.
Yeah, you give him out of fish.
Sometimes like real sexy librarian fish, and it's just I know how to lean into it. Look, like I'm 6'2", I got really long legs, miles. I know she knows what she's given, right? I just kind of lean into that and lean to what I have, and I just make it work for me, right?
Okay, boom. So oftentimes I think it's important to recognize like when we are oddly different in our transition, right? So like I always rely on like being hella sexy. Like that is just my mechanism when it's like my body, my curves. I've always felt like I've been I don't know, like I'm a upbeat, like positive, vivacious, like to have a good time. So that's what I've always felt like when it came to my transition. Like I've always put that at the forefront. And so like when I when I analyze other women transition or what type of woman I think they are, that's when the shit get murky for me. And that's when I feel like I become a mean girl. Um and I'm owning up to it a little bit.
Are you talking about that thing where you like stare at a girl and you just immediately notice what makes her clocky to you? And it's
Yeah.
and then you like start to look at yourself a little, and then you're like, wait, hold up. If she's looking kind of busted, am I looking kind of busted?
Yeah. Right. But then those like humbling experience for me lately, especially in my transition, I've noticed how like getting locks and getting braids make me more or wearing my natural hair makes me more insecure in my ownness because I'm like, yes, my ownness. If y'all go back, y'all know what ownness mean. But yeah, it makes me feel insecure. But I've noticed when I wear long extensions, ponytails, or whatever, I don't have that same instance or feeling. But yeah, I don't like that. I feel like I sum up other women in moments of like being in the room or something like that. Because I also notice when other girls don't reflect or look like me, I take it offensive if they say anything outside of like what's a norm for me, right? So I'll give you an example. I was like scrolling on social media one day and somebody was talking about being a hyper feminine trans woman and that's cool if that's something you want to do. And I was just kind of like, well, yeah, because I am a hyper feminine trans woman. And I got super offended, but I had to internalize and check my own self. Like, nah, bitch. Like, you can't. She ain't talking about you for a say. Um, and just because it's not your thing, don't mean that it is bad or it's different or nothing of the sort.
I mean,
But
I got locks and you ain't said shit to me about it, so what's up?
this is what I'm gonna say about you too, because I just feel like your locks don't look like locks. Like I wouldn't like when I think of yeah, like your shit don't look like locks. Like your locks look like somebody with good hair, just got some braids. It's just like your hair looks like you can take it down at any moment you want to. And so for me, when you be like, yeah, I got my locks, and even when you like fling your hair, fling your hair. Look, it looked like individual braids, right? So in my mind, I don't internalize that as lock. But I know if I was to lock my hair, bitches gonna say that I'm locks.
Well, I have micro locks, so if you got your locks this small, they'd look like this tip.
Okay, I would hope so. I would hope so.
Actually, I don't want to get this far. Hold up.
How long have you been locking your hair?
Huh? How long did it take me to lock my hair? I was in that chair for like Look, on the last day, I would been in that chair from like literally 7 a.m. to like 3 a.m. And that was like day 3. The next day, day 4, I had to clock out work, go to the hairdresser, and I got there at like 6. I did not leave there till I think 2 a.m. It took a long fucking time. Let's put it like that. Okay, like
Okay. So
hours.
let me ask you, is there anything about necessarily wearing your natural hair or anything outside of that that makes you, because I see you are more where you say wearing your natural hair makes you feel that way as well. But is there anything that necessarily comes up for you that brings up an insecurity for you during your like womanhood?
Well, I feel like for me, I've always wanted locks. I've had locks on off throughout my life. I didn't realize I want locks like this, like long and skinny, like micro locks,
Right.
right? Until I really grew up. I feel like my ideal conception of my womanhood has always been like a woman with like really long, flowy locks for hair, right? Now that I have that, I feel really affirmed in my gender in a way. When I had my afro, though, that was like, oh, this makes me nervous. So
Okay. Okay.
it's like I'm 6'2", I'm walking out with this big, like, look, I got a lot of hair, and like, how much do you think this was when it wasn't like this? Like, out.
Right.
And that's very attention grabbing. And sometimes when you are like a woman, when you are a trans woman, a Black trans woman at that, you're not
Okay.
trying to get attention like that.
Okay. Talk about it. Oh, yeah, and I
So
think at the same time too, like, I think being a darker skinned woman, like, if I ever press out my hair, I've noticed people reactions of being like, "Oh, your hair is really, really long," and it was just like, "Yeah, like,
like,
it's hair." Like, I don't have any control over how it grows out my scalp, but I'm just saying, like, hey, it's Black girls out here that actually has length of hair, and like it's actually lighter skinned girls who don't have long hair either. So it's just kind of like stupid, you know.
no, long hair, they be having like bald headed chicken spots from that perm press. And I was like,
But
oh,
but those be those generational practices that we have to undo, um, because we be taught that our hair is not. I actually just posted something like Black girls have beautiful hair, um, and normalizing like us just being able to wear our natural hair and feel comfortable, and I don't know. Like I used to didn't want perms, and I remember I had a hairdresser that used to be like, "We're gonna have to press your hair because it's so thick." You know what that makes you do as a young adult, like how you internalize that. I'm like, but I don't want a perm
yes.
because how she pressed it would make me feel like it was silky smooth. So when she permed it and did everything that she did to it, it still felt the exact same way from her press. So I'm like, you just put all these additional chemicals in my head just because maybe you don't like yielding the work. Maybe it's too much for you to like press my hair out.
Racism.
Yeah, yeah. And so I was just like, I don't want to do that. And then I remember what it did for my scalp and the damage, the chemical damage that it done when I'm like, it's burning. And they're like, no, you're fine. Just let it sit. No, I don't want to let it sit. Wash this shit out. Like it's burning, bitch. I'm telling you, my brain is leaking out my skull. Oh Lord. So yeah, I think it's very.
You good? You got therapy for this? Do you need health care?
I have therapy. I'm in therapy. That's how I've been able to get through these rough times.
Okay. So we got something. Okay.
Okay, boom.
That's
now,
what's
are, now, are you in therapy?
Oh, what? No. Yeah, this
Oh,
is a conversation about you, not
mm.
me. I was asking out
Yeah,
concern.
no, it's about us. It's about us. We here together. But
No,
no,
I'm not. I want to. I just think I need to find a therapist that can not like hold me accountable, but I need a therapist that'll read me for filth and be like,
yeah, you
when I
can.
show up to the office, I'm like, look, I was drinking dumb bitch juice. I don't need that. Because let's be clear, you know when you're drinking dumb bitch juice. Like, yeah, there are some times it's like, oh my god, my trauma like blinded me to this. But you know your decisions sometimes, right? I feel like I've had therapists in the past who are kind of like, yeah, but you did this, and this is the reason why this happened, and forgive yourself. No. That's not the conversation I want to have.
Right.
I want to have the get your shit together on lockdown conversation. But yeah.
Okay, would you say, Zandra, that you well, for people who don't know, that's her nickname, Zandra.
Hey, now
Yeah.
Alex.
Okay, can I ask you how both of your names differentiate? Like, how did you end up getting two different names on the scene?
Wait, Alexandria and Zandra?
Yeah.
Okay, so when I came out as trans, and I was like, I've been stuck on a name forever, right? It was like Jasmine, Aaliyah, Esmeralda.
Oh, you was gonna be exotic as fuck.
Well, those are some of the nicer options. I have really bad taste in names. So like other names were like Evangeline, Evangelique. I liked Shakespeare's character Desdemona, so I was kind of thinking about that.
Okay.
No, I cannot be out here Desdemona.
We would not even call you that, sis. The girl in the back, come here.
But yeah, I couldn't decide. So I called my mom up and I was like, so I need you to do your job. Like, you picked it the first time around, you gonna pick it the second time around, we just gonna see how that goes. Right. So months later she was like, yeah, how about Zandra? And I was like, I feel like this is nice. I feel like I got dressed without any like heels or a purse. Where's the earrings? Like, baby, I need to go to a fundraiser to get a 6-figure making man. And so I was like, okay, we're gonna make it Alexandria. Okay. And just go by Zandra for short. And I like books. Alexandria, like the Library of Alexandria, in terms of like how the library is destroyed in history and doesn't really recover from that. But also, I also want to be a librarian once upon a time, and just Alexandria. Also, I love libraries. I love books. I'm named after a library. Yes, thank you.
That makes sense. So do you feel like you get along, or like do you have like a group of girlfriends that you hang out with?
Oh, what? No.
That girl said what? No.
Well, I really don't have any girls to hang out with like that, right? But I feel like that's more. You ever like know that one black person and like they ain't got no black friends, just conveniently? I feel like that's me, but like the trans version. And I've had to like really reassess that because I've said things before, like, I'm just so distant from my community, you guys. Oh my God. Like all the most bullshit excuses ever, right?
Right.
And then COVID happened and I lost the majority of a lot of my relationships or friendships, right? So it's like, oh. And that time, girls would be showing up to my house, just like, yeah, here's your care package, sis, and a little bit of money to get you through, yeah. And that did a lot for me, right? So like, even though I don't have any close trans friends, I feel like I don't have any girls to hang out with, and at the same time, simultaneously, like, I have been the beneficiary of much investment from my community. From Trans Sisters of Color Project to Janice to Liliana to all these like trans women of color who've done big things for themselves, who've done things for the girls.
Right.
The name change program, right? Like, so I feel like there's now this disconnect of like, I've been invested in by my community, but I'm not vibing with my community. It's like, that doesn't sit right with me. And I don't know, I want to have trans friends. I want to hang out with the girls and stuff. I'm just, reclusive. And that's its own whole thing. Because that doesn't really provide an excuse to me. Because I feel like friendships are still a classification of relationship, right? So that still means things like communication, doing your fair share of emotional labor, right? Doing
Yes.
work that doesn't just pop into existence because you're like, oh my God, I'm so lonely. Can someone be my friend?
That's very true. That's very true.
And bitches aren't obligated to give you that either, even
Mm.
if you are part of the same community. Like, girl, what? No, like
Yeah,
let's
I found that I had to like reassess myself because like I was somewhere and this particular girl just keep not speaking, or she speak, but you can tell it's some energy behind it, right? And I'm just like, well, damn, we never had a problem. Like, what is girl tip? But I said I had told myself like you're reaching too far into it. Like it is what it is. That could be her demeanor. That can just be how she responds. Um, and I didn't take the extra mile to like really greet her or get to know her. So now I'm just matching energy. Like, oh, bitch, you ain't speaking. Fuck you. Like, I don't need your funky ass dry high. Like, but really, why am I only paying attention to her when it's a negative, thing or how she making me feel? When honestly, like, she could be carrying a lot of shit and baggage that she just like, oh hey, here go another bitch just talking to me, but genuinely may not see me or whatever. So I be trying not to take it personal when I feel like girls go out of their way to be like spiteful or mean. Um, because I get it. And depending on who you ask about me, they might be like, yeah, she's a super bitch. Fuck her. Like, so I'd be like, oh, okay, yeah,
I
well.
literally, you keep saying depending on what somebody asks me about you, but I've never heard this. Well, actually, I'm not a good example because I don't really be hearing shit about anybody anymore. I'll
Right.
just
You're
crap.
so disconnected from the community. Yeah.
I'm no longer, confession, everyone, I'm no longer a trans woman. I'm just gender. There,
You're
that's it.
living in
That's
stealth.
the
Got
post. I went stealth and cut off all connections. I just
it. You done got your pearls and you said, I'm clenching them and gone. Bye. See you later.
trans. What's that? Is that like
Wow.
transportation? I mean, I catch the bus sometimes, not anymore.
Okay, that's a good question. Boom. So a lot of people be having this debate, right? Around like if you're trans and you decide to go post op, will you inform people after that point if you were trans, or how would you identify yourself at that moment? You want to take a crack at that?
Like disclose to potential partners, or like is that what you're getting into, or like just tell people in general? Like,
Yeah, it was kind of more around a condemnation around like being in a relationship. Would you tell him that you used to be trans and this, that, and third?
okay, so I'm gonna say this right now. It's nobody's business but that bitch's business. And I'm tired of all these cis people that are like, oh my God, not disclosing to me that you're trans is like sexual assault or raping me or something. Like, okay, first of all, let's really break down what this constitutes as and like get into the nitty gritty of it, right? Because
Right.
what you think is happening is not that at
You
all.
keep making it a thing and it's not.
So, I'm gonna say this: if someone decides to become post-op and they just don't want to reveal that to their partner, like that's their choice. Am I going to say it's the smart choice? No, just because of like paper trails and like how that can escalate, and like also you're keeping a part of yourself from someone who might love you more for who you are.
That's really good.
Right? And it's just not a healthy relationship practice. But in terms of the sheer ethics, the sheer optics, if that's what fulfills her, if she just wants to be a woman, a cisgender, classified, like the closest thing she can get, right? All of that, and she don't want to disclose to nobody, then that's her tea, and she has the right to that. She doesn't have to disclose. And even pre-op trans women don't have the right to, don't have to disclose to anyone unless they feel like it, right?
Right.
You don't have to disclose that you're trans unless you want to. And bitches got different tactics for that based on the region they live. Like, you can feel some type of way about it if you want to, but our concern is getting shot in the head on some crazy first date. Let's be clear.
Let's be very clear.
These
And that's the biggest thing, like, because I always go back and forth about that. Because I be thinking like, well, damn, what about all the times when I did tell people, right? Like all the times you disclose and you try and be the right person and you want to be upfront and honest, right? Because that's why they say we getting killed. We getting killed because we are not telling these men, right? Um,
That's the exact opposite, actually.
yeah.
I saw
But
this
it's
post.
always the cisgender people that's quick to jump on the bandwagon and talk about trans experience and tell you how we should be living to their standards, right?
Yeah, no, and it's just like, first of all, and it always comes up with the most bullshit that's not even actually true in reality. In reality, academia would be like, this bitch is lying, Your Honor. Like science, this bitch is lying, Your Honor. She does not know what she is talking about. All these things that tell transphobes and cis people about our lived experience that they're just wrong and they still can't get the program, right? All of that to say that it's not their business. And like when we talk about trans realities and like trans death, most of those women that are on that list that are killed by people who knew they were transgender, right?
Yeah.
Also, like, let's be clear, like, even in the fact that they are killed, it's not just because they're trans. Like, yes, it's a huge element of it, but there's multiple things happening. They're Black, they're Latina, they're sex workers, they're low income. Like, there's a lot of things happening around that in terms of power and structure and how our privilege and oppression, respectively, are constructed and pushed upon us, right?
Mhm.
That gets to that point.
Yeah,
So,
and how society talks about us, right? Because so if we're constantly being told we're not valued, they don't see us, we're being erased, then people don't feel like they gotta fucking respect you. They don't feel like it's gonna be no police knocking at your door. They don't feel like anything is gonna happen or nobody is even gonna miss you. They feel like you're some unheard of, unknown, unloved person.
exactly. And like they will treat you like that. And no shade, like, okay, so like I'm not trying to bring up the trans panic defense, like that's like a legitimate thing because we see legally speaking, there's been so much pushback on it that most people can't really use that to get away with it anymore. Like, yeah, we have some circumstances where it still happens, like in the South and like other places, right?
Mhm.
But generally speaking, we see as trans rights catch up to the modern era, like it's becoming less of a thing, right? Um, where was I going with this? Trans panic, something about disclosure. I don't know why my brain failed me just now, but it just did.
You're fine. But no, I think it's really important to always highlight that, like, a lot of the pressure when it comes to trans women existing, a lot of it is put back on ourselves. No different. Oh, you found it? Go ahead.
Yes. Okay. So I feel like there's this experience of like me as like a trans woman, and then being like queer and attracted to multiple genders. It kind of gives off this whole, oh, you're queer too. Oh my god, this icky like hermaphrodite is
Yeah.
attracted to me. Yes, we know it's a slur, so the social justice warriors in the comments can pipe down, please. But yeah, no, right? Like, there's this lens of it that's like you're this subhuman thing. And that's where I was going with this in terms of like how you just said that society treats us this way. So people think they can get away with it to some extent, right? When there's no real legal precedent for murdering someone of a certain class, that sends a political message to community and to institutions how they can be treated, how they can be discarded,
Yeah.
and is a part of a slew of whole other things, right? Um,
And
so
it's just so horrible because I think about a lot of the relationships I've been in without being in them, right? Like you're dating someone, but you're not monogamous. And then if you find out this person has another partner, and then y'all have the conversation, the conversation is geared around them not being comfortable enough to communicate with A, family, or B, their partner. And so it's just like, why is this my responsibility to like shield or hide myself or shrink myself in order to um make your reality comfortable and make this exist as if you're not attracted to women like myself? um and I think if we start to normalize people attractionalities to us or trans people being able to love whoever the fuck they want to and start seeing reflections of um trans people being loved healthily, like healthy in society, it will change a lot of the dynamics that I feel like we see oftentimes, especially going into domestic violence next month.
Oh, this is a spicy talk show. Okay, Wendy Williams.
No.
Okay, T.S. Williams. Are you gonna try to do me like Whitney Houston on the radio show now, or
Oh. We make too much money. But no, I think the important thing is that like I love what Mouthy is starting to bring to people, not only to our community, but to cishet communities that's like getting engaged with the conversation or wanting to chime in or wanting to come on their platform or want to clear up misconceptions around like, oh shit, I did misgender somebody, but this is why, because my lack of ignorance or normalizing men interacting with myself and other women. And really sometime soon, we're about to have a conversation in a panel around the world renowned cis women and trans women. And I really want to have this conversation in a way that shapes our experiences, but I hope it's rooted in respect and love. I know there's going to be some uncomfortable moments, but I definitely think it's really important that we start to have the conversation and give ourselves the opportunity to like heal, right? Like people pin us against each other, and really we're sharing the same plight. So thoughts, thoughts.
how do I say this? I might be swerving out my lane here, and that's okay. Drag me for this. So I feel like oppression structures itself similarly. And that's not to say that like across down to like the very nuances of individual forms of oppression that people deal with are the exact same. I'm not trying to get into that. Like they're not like, or else people would have a lot more competence than they do now. Nonprofit organizing, right? But all that to say that like when we talk about classifications of women and our treatment of one another when there's a power imbalance, there are certain similarities. Like, how do I say this? So I've noticed in like community discussions about colorism, it quickly devolves into like oh my god, I was like bullied for being light skinned. It's just like, I mean, not to dismiss the trauma, like I'm sure that was rough for you, but this needs to be a conversation about material gains and benefits in terms of like how lighter skinned people have historically had access to education, more financial opportunity, more like end of the day, this is still a privilege and needs to be about that. We can get to that later. I feel like that's just my perspective on that, right? So I feel like that relationship is similarly mirrored in terms of the relationship between white women and black women, and how white women have used white men as a tool for their own ways of enforcing oppression, right? Like, I feel like there's this thing where like white women are like, oh my god, racist, that was them. Like, men have the monopoly on murder, honey. Like, baby, this is a picture of your great granny saying, "Woman of the clan, kill that slave," right here. You want to say that to me again?
Okay, so this is my fear. This is my fear about the conversation.
Well,
yes,
that's where I'm getting to.
Oh, go ahead.
I'm sorry. No. So I'll say that like cis women have this thing where they will trigger like a cis man's insecurity or whatever, and like deliberately monopolize or manipulate his masculinity.
Yes, come on.
Basically, a lot of cis women have been culpable for the murder of trans women through this method, just like a lot of white women have been culpable in the murder of black people through weaponizing white men, right? And it's something that even cisgender black women do. It's really funny because like trans women, I think, are like the leading cause of death as intimate partner violence, but for cisgender black women, it's the second leading cause of death, right? So it's just like there's which means that like our experiences as black women, there's, whether we're both cis or trans, right? Like there's still that similarity of our relationship to the men of our community and how that shows up a lot more. Because I feel like it gets into this, oh my God, it's different because there's this like, no, it's really not quite as different. They just, the natural born pussy just means they can send mobs after us. That's it.
And that's what I'm more afraid of with the conversation. Hopefully it comes from a place of um not cis women feeling threatened as if trans women, like, it's some conversations that's just hitting around, you took our man, no different than like you said, black women and white women. You took our man, the infamous, you want to be me. And it's like, I just hope that doesn't come from there, and people come from a lens of really wanting to be around the table of solution, right? Like, I get it with a lot of the hurt and experiences that people have been through especially when it comes to men. But I want us as women to be able to find healthy and whole solutions to be able to move forward and normalize conversation. Because if either one of us is about to be dealing with a man, let's start to see how we can change the paradigm of the like lying and the cheating, because his fear is that people won't accept him like liking us.
That conversation sounds like a whole deconstruction of like heterosexism, patriarchy, the nitty gritty.
Yeah.
Bitches in there that like have some act right and a good moderator, because ooh.
Yeah, so I'm hoping to get bitches liquored up and and hopefully they coming from a real place of like mind and heart.
Wait, liquored up? Oh, on second thought, I think I might be able
You want to come in? You gonna be available? Okay, great. Let the people know, Zandra, how they can keep in contact with you, my dear.
Oh my God. Wait, what? Legit? No, I mean, I have an email, zandragibson@gmail.com.
Okay, period. And so yeah, did you tell us about what you do for work? I feel like you kind of skipped past it.
Because it's just like a regular like corporate job. It ain't community or anything, nothing. It's just like.
But what's your passion, right? Like, you passionate about like numbers and shit, right? Is that right, or am I wrong?
No, so I feel like my passion for numbers comes up when we talk about the ability for things like science and physics and engineering technology to improve our lives. Not in this way where we have capitalists, where we basically have technology that destroys the planet with how ineffective it is. Like, oh my God, we have solar energy, we have wind.
Glad you're here.
All these things, and it's just like we're doing oil and coal. This is ghetto. Okay. So like my passion comes in the sense of how can these things improve the human being's life and experience, and how can these things grant us more leisure so we have more time to pursue opportunities that may benefit who we are or nurture our souls in a sense, right? Okay, that's where the passion comes in. This is just data entry, and like that's fine and that's okay. Also, I'm like not out at work like at all. Like if my car is like, yeah, girl, I saw you on this podcast, I'll be like, I'll be like, you saw who? Okay, I'm gonna put my hair up and take my glasses off and be like, who you see at the podcast, girl? That doesn't look nothing like me.
Okay, period.
Superman disguise. Well, super girl, you know what I mean. Clark Kent. Well, ew, this makes me feel gross. Anyway.
Well, thank you for coming. I'm about to y'all don't forget to support Fox for Souls. Because that is a great event that is going on. So know that you can drop off your donations at the Ruth Ellis Center on Thursday at 2 p.m. And we are still having Meals with Mouthy coming up for the holiday to host a great event for trans women of color here in Detroit to have a warm meal during the holiday season. Is there any other updates that you might have, Zandra, that you know of? Well, oh, and like Rachel Crandall Cracker is having her Halloween party. So I don't have to play with you. Yeah, any final message you would have for the ladies?
how do I say this? Give up the preoccupation with trade, unless he's rich with a lot of pockets. In which case,
You said cut that check. Okay.
Look, be a gold digger. Use these men for money. Live your life. That's the message, really.
Okay. So y'all know it's Mouthy message. This is your um so this is Mean Girls. So just know that the power of Mean Girls is like, don't become a plastic. Don't become fake to yourself and the ones around you. Be true to who you are. Because nothing about projecting your insecurities or vulnerabilities on another woman will make you honestly be more of a woman. If anything, call a woman in, love on her, let her know you love and affirm and celebrate her. And more than anything, like, don't be a Regina King. Like, don't think you lead in the pack, but in retrospect, you actually self-demising. You know, don't be don't be a Gretchen. Don't be someone who just sit back and like fall in the foreground if you see injustice happening. And definitely don't be a Katie. Like, don't change yourself for anybody else. Remain true to yourself. And it's your girl, Miss Mouthy. Know that when you don't see me, you what? You hear me. Until next week. Bye.